And
Great. Thank you, Ellis. Preliminary matter, Brian Sullivan, Chair of the Affordable Housing Trust. Permit me to confirm all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Dave Iverson,
Here.
Tom Dixon,
Here.
Rima Sherry,
Here.
and Brian Sullivan. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ellis Ramos,
here,
Vicky Marsh,
Here.
and we're waiting on Christy for her headset. We'll let her cue in. Just note Penny Dye has joined the meeting.
Here.
Thank you.
And Meg.
Anticipators on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. Let's see, who do we have anticipated? Jerry? Can you hear us?
Here, yes, I can.
Great, thank you. Just note the
Can you hear
minutes.
me? Great.
We got you. That Meg Browers has joined the meeting. Meg, you good? Connected?
Good. Yep.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is an open meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. The meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, Affordable Housing Trust is convening via video conference via the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note the meeting is being recorded and all attendees are participating via video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the meeting. All materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noticed. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Before we turn to the first item of the agenda, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude, go down a line of members, inviting each to provide by name, provide comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or your computer when not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. For any response, please wait until the floor is yielded to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Items with public comment. After members of the public have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their name and be acknowledged and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote will be conducted via roll call. Okay, let's see. Christy, did you make it in? Is it working? You went back to your old device? Yep. Okay. Anybody that I didn't get? We're good. So we'll call the meeting to order. My understanding is there are some adjustments for the proposed agenda. Ellis or Christy, do you want to make those known?
yes. We would like to request to remove from the agenda item 8, the funding sources. Item 10, the Richmond proposal, and item 11, the deed restriction.
Okay, and so just as a point of clarification, we are postponing those to a later date, not removing them. Item 8 was we're waiting on a meeting with the finance department. Item 10 relates to that meeting with the finance department, which I believe is scheduled for tomorrow. And what was the other one?
The deed restriction.
Poor Judy has been sick since just after Christmas, and is still not available to attend a meeting. So those will be coming back at future meetings, just not for today. Is there a motion to move those to a future agenda?
Motion to approve with amendments as stated by Ellis, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second from Dave? And by Meg, roll call, Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Rima Sherry,
Aye.
Edie,
Aye.
Meg Browers,
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
and Brian Sullivan's an aye. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Oh, we probably should have done something with this one. Approval of minutes. Are we prepared? I don't see any dates listed. Which one's Penny?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. These are the ones from October, I think, that we pushed this off. I haven't had a chance to see them. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
there was no meeting. minutes to be approved today.
Okay, I think we still have the October ones though, don't we?
Yes,
Okay, but so just let's take this off the agenda also, please.
Okay, so we will just leave approval of minutes for a future meeting. I guess maybe should I take a motion and a vote on that? I'm getting a yes from town council. So is there a motion to move minutes to a future meeting
So moved.
and a second?
Second,
So moved by Rima, seconded by Tom. Roll call, Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Rima Sherry,
Aye.
Penny Dye,
aye.
Mike Powers,
Aye.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
and Brian Sullivan's an aye. Item 4. Note, all trust meetings are recorded and are available on the town's YouTube channel. I guess that's a PSA of an agenda item, may not need any more explanation than that. But just navigating to the town's YouTube channel, you can find past meetings. Item number 5, public comment. I'll open the floor for members of the public.
Yes, I'd like to comment.
Great.
Mary Mack.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, how you doing?
Good,
How's
you?
everyone? Good. I was thinking about the whole public education situation, and I thought maybe somehow you could develop online training modules on affordable housing, attainable housing, the deed restriction program, and anything else the community should know a lot about, including all the challenges and housing successes. I kind of wrote this down. Create the modules as if you might want to hire some of these community members, as in educate the community to become experts. Have tests at the end of each module and include realistic what-if type scenarios. Members of the community can relearn anything they don't understand and retake the tests until they score well. Then after, maybe have like a graduation party, quote unquote, at the yacht club or somewhere else nice. And I'm thinking that all of this will level the playing field. Community members will understand the challenges, talk about solutions. You'll get to know people. These community members will criticize and complain less. They will support and be more helpful where they can and share creative ideas. That's it. That's my idea.
Thank you, Mary. I
You're
like the
welcome.
idea. Thank you for being thoughtful and having it a full idea about it. At a future, we should take that up and respond to that, Christy.
Okay. All right.
And get into it a little bit. Versus a conversation, we'll take the idea and then come back to you.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
Sure.
I see Tucker Holland's hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's so nice to be here as an audience member. A member of the public, knowing that Christy is sitting in the housing director chair. Christy and I talked about this a little bit. We thought we would just bring it up here, but I think the board is aware that tomorrow evening, the select board is going to be hearing from Hall Keene regarding the Six Fairgrounds project and sort of the status of that and hopefully the path forward. And Erica had actually asked this morning, like, does the trust have a recommendation regarding, I guess, what formally is their request for an extension of the due diligence period under the land development agreement? And I think we're all waiting to hear from Hall Keene about exactly where they're at and what the path forward is. So I'm not suggesting that you all consider any recommendation at this point, but I simply wanted to make you aware that this discussion was going to be going on tomorrow night. And to the extent any of you are available, it might be interesting to be listening in on that discussion.
Thank you, Tucker. We will move to Shelley Lockwood. Shelley?
Hi. So I'm sorry. I'd like to add something to an agenda, to be discussed. Do I bring that up now and then it shows up at another time?
We'll take under whatever you have to say into consideration, whether or not it
Okay.
makes sense. We'll have to determine that later, but please share with us what your thoughts are.
So I was asked by a couple different people at different times, a question I didn't have the answer to, which is the housing trust going to help fund the lease to locals program? And people seem to think they're linked, and they're not. I understand that because I just did lease to locals for me, but I was thinking it made sense for the Affordable Housing Trust to think about putting funds toward that. And I just wanted to put it out there to, flesh that out and have a conversation about it. I think it's appropriate, but of course that's your decision to make.
So I think that's something, we can definitely talk about and work towards making an agenda. There's been no request from the organization for us to consider that. So
From
Um,
placemates or from Act Now?
from whomever. So there's been no reason for the trust to take it up at this time. We've been informed about the program, but outside of that. So with that, we'll leave it there. Take your request under advisement, and I guess we can work with staff on coming up with an agenda item.
Okay, and
ahead.
how would I know if it's been decided to talk about it? By looking at the minutes of each meeting?
Yeah, exactly. Not the minutes, a future agenda.
Future agenda, and that's on the website on the town.
Exactly, published before every one of our meetings.
Okay. And all right, I'll just keep checking and see. All right.
I thought there was a bunch of hands. So Dave, your hand went up, Tom and Penny. Go ahead,
Yeah, I
Dave.
just wanted to save her from reading minutes and tell her to look at agendas.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Tom?
Got it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say to Tucker's point about what he was talking about, our select board meeting is fully remote, so no one show up at the PSF on Wednesday night because majority of the select board is away this week. And also that to Ms. Mack's point about education, there's a tentative chance that obviously we'd need to run this by town council and make sure we were very careful, but Brooke and I are considering doing a Housing 101 podcast series. And so, possibly look for that soon if it works out.
Cool. And then Penny, did you went up and then went?
Just quickly, I just want to remind everybody that the Lease to Locals program is a pilot program. Obviously, we all know it's privately funded. And my understanding is there will be an assessment of it at the end of the year, the end of the first culmination of the first year. And I think it's completely appropriate that we're involved in those discussions about funding going forward. Thanks.
Great. Shelley, did you want to follow up one more time? I think your hand went back up.
I just wanted to say it's a pilot program here, but it's well entrenched in other parts of the country. So that's all. It's long standing other places, just new here.
Thank you, Shelley.
Mhm.
Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will come to closing cost assistance, 6A Beachgrass application. Sorry. Are there any questions on the application? Seeing none. Alice, the application is complete. Not awaiting any additional paperwork or anything?
We're just missing her closing date. And And the attorney wire information. Yeah,
Okay.
so we're missing, you have enough information to vote on it today.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Would anyone like to make a motion on this application?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the application for
I'll
closing cost assistance for 6A Beach Pass, is it? Yeah,
Second,
Dave, was that you?
yes.
Okay, so motion from Penny to approve the application, a second from Dave Iverson, a vote from by roll call, Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Rima Sherry,
Aye.
what's my order? Penny Dye,
I,
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Meg Browers,
Aye.
and Brian Sullivan's an aye. Thank you, everyone. Written testimony to submit for the Affordable Housing Homes Act hearing for review. Christy, can I pass this to you?
Yes. So the letter that was in the packet for you all is a letter that the select board is going to be considering at tomorrow night's meeting. And I just wanted to pass it through the Affordable Housing Trust to get, sorry, I think I just cut out, to get your opinions if there was anything. Basically, this past Wednesday, Senator Sear gave an update to the select board about the governor's bill. It's going to include the option for a local transfer fee. And we wanted to write a letter in support of this to provide as written testimony for the hearing on Thursday.
Does anybody have any questions for Christy? And so this will be supplied for Thursday's meeting?
This is for Wednesday's select board meeting, so I was hoping to have this reviewed and approved by the trust to support the request for the select board to sign on.
Okay. Has anyone not had an opportunity to look at this yet? Can we look to take an action? Rima, that looks like you
Yeah,
just got it.
I'm searching around to see which email it's in to take a quick glance, but not
It's
coming up.
definitely attached to Ellis's most recent email.
Oh,
The title is letter_H.4138, the affordable.
It's
Go ahead,
also,
For the meeting
it's
notice.
also all attached on the meeting invite. So if you go where you would go to get the Zoom link for the meeting, you'll find all the attachments there
yeah.
for this meeting.
I just have one attachment on mine, the agenda, unless you sent it today.
Came at 11:31, I think.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I look earlier. I don't, if if I get something during the day, I probably don't see it, but I'll zip in there now. Hold on.
I will
To
just so everybody
discuss.
knows that I have been asked to go on Thursday to Boston to the State House and speak as a panelist, wearing a variety of hats that I do, being a real estate broker and affordable housing advocate. So I will be one of the panelists speaking with, I think I'm allotted 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Penny?
yeah, just quickly, I just want to thank Ellis while Rima's looking for that I think it's so helpful to have everything in one place. Again, though, it would be great to get it a little earlier if we could. Thanks.
I echo
Thank you.
Penny's thing. Mr. Holland?
I just was going to mention that this morning, in kind of a similar vein, the town has been asked potentially to sign on to an op-ed that would be published most likely on Thursday in conjunction with the hearing that Brian talked about. And this would be kind of a tri-party op-ed, Somerville, Concord, Nantucket, as communities that have been seeking this measure for quite a while. I don't have a draft yet from the LOHA Coalition Local Option for Housing Affordability, but we're going to be receiving that later today.
Thank you, Tucker. Any more side check? Go ahead, Rima.
No, I just want to say I've reviewed the letter and it looks good to me. So, you know, if we want to take action, I'm ready.
Make a motion to approve this letter being submitted.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Rima. Vote by roll, Tom Dixon,
Aye.
Rima Sherry,
Aye.
Penny Dye,
Hi.
Dave Iverson,
Aye.
Meg Bowers,
Hi.
and Brian Sullivan's an aye. Okay. Moving on.
Wait, Tucker has his hand up.
Oh, is that a leftover hand up, Tucker, or you have your hand up?
It's a leftover, sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Christy. Where am I? Public. Written testimony. We skipped that one. Habitat Humanity request for funding for Wait Drive constructions review and action. Jerry, can I have you start with the presentation? And we'll come to staff and then we'll come to the board.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you all, Mr. Chair. So after a kind of a long road, the town did sell us, we conveyed the land for the 3 lots, lots 88, 89, and 90 on Wait Drive last week. So now we are ready to go. We have all things in place to get started on the project. What we're going to be doing, if you haven't seen it, but what we're going to be doing is on the 3 lots, we're going to be building a total of 6 homes. It's going to be 2 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, and 1 duplex that has 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths on each side. All of the homes will have full 9-foot ceiling basements. So we kit them out as we do all our other homes, so that they can actually turn them into basements as well once they own the homes. We have started the process for shy listing to the EOHLC. Those have the applications have been submitted. We have their support. They have not given us formal support, but they're happy with what we're trying to do. So we did submit with them a waiver to get a local worker town employee waiver of the 6 homes for 2 of those homes to be for local workers. So of the total of 70% can go local of these homes under shy listing. But we hope to, in the past, it's all been local. And in fact, of the 16 homes, 6 homes have already gone to town employees. So what we're asking for to make it quicker is that we want to start the project. We have started the permitting project. We put the waiver request in today to the town for all the sewer permits. The staking from Blackwell, Leo, who did all the sewers on the road, he's going to be doing this for us. They will be cleared the last week of this month, and then stripped and graded the week after that. So digging needs to start, we hope, in March 1st, and some foundations put in. So money is needed for this. The request I'm putting in for is a total over 18 months to 2 years is going to be $4 million for the 6 homes. And I gave a list, I sent an email with a list of what where we think the timing of those funds and the needs, what they're for, et cetera. We have a full breakdown if you do need that as well. I can send that in a separate fund. I did send in the pack each of the HDC approval packets as well. So I'm happy to take any questions. We appreciate greatly all your help. We've done 16 homes thanks to you. And we're very excited for our biggest project, try to build 6 homes over 2 years. We do need help I'm going to be asking, well, Tucker's here. There's a window when you shy list things, you have 18 months from start to finish. And we're trying to build 6. So we're going to have to sort of stage this. Kind of as a scale, we're better for us to build 4 and then 2 on each side, 2 on the other side, and then do the one in the middle. But this 18-month start to finish window, we're going to work with the ELHOC, see if that can be extended, because Once we have the plumbers and everyone there, we want them to help. The reality is whether they actually get people in the homes within the 18 months of all of them is going to be a little difficult, but we're working. I'm going to be working, speaking to Christy next week on the timing of this. Happy to take questions. Yes.
Great, thank you, Gary. Penny?
Yep, Brian, through you, yeah, just a quick question. When you say local workers, do you mean municipal employees?
Correct. Municipal
thank you.
employees. I
Just
apologize. That's not
clarification.
the correct word.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Holland?
Yes, just to Jerry's point about the SHI list. Ultimately, I think what we're most focused on is that a minimum of 4 building permits are pulled in 2024 in advance of December 11th. And if 2 units, if 4 of the 6 units can be completed in the 18-month time frame, that's again what we're seeking. If 2 units lag a little bit further, that isn't necessarily problematic based on everything else we know now.
Mr. Chairman, I speak.
Yep. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yes. So what we've done, we spoke to the building department. We're gonna apply for foundation permits to start, which actually we can get the project started. We can do the foundations. We don't have to pull the building permits. The clock starts ticking the 18 months once you actually pull the permit from the building department. So we will have the foundations in, and with that will grant us enough time. Certainly, we will get the 4 houses done in the 18 months this year. And then since the foundation permits are in, the building permits we're going to be applying for as well, but they'll get approved, but the clock doesn't start ticking until we actually pull them. And the building department's been extremely helpful in trying to assist us in this matter.
Great, thank you, Jerry. Other board members with questions? Go ahead, Rima.
Are these going to be modular, Jerry, through Brian?
No, we did the last 5 were modular, Rima, and we were not happy with the final construction, being that some of it was quite poor. The builder who built the Starbuck construction, who did the framing and building for all of the Sachin's Path, or 3 homes there, and did all of Sachin Path, came to us and has been in contact with me for the last 5 years. He wanted to do this project. He came in with a bid that's equal to what the cost of modular was. So he cut his prices by about 30%. No one else would have done it, but he really wants to work here, and he's been extremely helpful. So we're going to get back to stick building, which means volunteer labor as well, which is also good since the modular cut out a lot of volunteers.
Great, thank you.
That's exciting about that contractor. Dave, and then Penny. You know you're good, Dave? Penny?
Oh, yeah, just for clarity, is the thing that we're voting on today, the first 500,000? Are we voting on this whole thing today?
Based on the request, I guess I'm going to come to Christy and then I guess other question follow up to that is, are we prepared to understand what buckets they're coming from?
So
Christy?
the request is for the $4 million. The trust can, make a partial decision and talk about the first 500,000, and kind of go from there. It's kind of up to the trust to decide how we want to structure this. But I do have a meeting on Friday with Brian Turbot around funding. But we have discussed funding for Habitat in different buckets as we're moving into kind of how we would use funds in 2024 and 2025. That's always kind of been in our mind.
Great, thank you, Christy. Hang on, Penny. Vicky, and then to Penny.
So, as you know, any expenditure of funds that's over $100,000 must be approved by the select board. So, I'm not sure when the next meeting would be that they can vote on this. Tom, do you have any idea as to when this could come up so that they could just approve any funding for Habitat?
I would say this week is probably pretty
Right.
full with the warrant and all that, as you
Yeah.
know. But we do have a meeting next week, and we do have a couple coming up, and I don't think there's anything too, I mean, huge, a lot of stuff I don't think there's that much on the agendas.
Okay. I mean, it's more, we just need the proposal that would be, the funding proposal that's Jerry has made, and then get the approval from the board. And once, I think, depending upon how they want to vote on it, if they just want to approve the overall funding request, then we don't have to keep going back each time that there's a request for spending. So something to think about.
Penny, and then to you, Jerry.
Yeah, just quickly, I am completely in support of the total funding here. I'm a little less comfortable right now voting on the whole thing until after Christie has that meeting with Brian Turbot, because I would like a better understanding of what we keep calling the buckets. So I would propose that we fund half of this now, subject to the schedule that's been laid out. I guess that's a motion.
Before you make your motion, can I come to Jerry just to understand what their flow and needs are?
Yep.
Jerry?
Yeah, it would be easier, instead of coming back each time, was to fund an amount. And I understand, I was told by that it was going to come from different buckets, and some buckets need approval, some buckets don't need approval, etc. I don't understand any of that. But reality is, you can see from the timing that I laid out, is once the big numbers are going to be, one is the utilities, just to do the utilities in the start. Next thing is the concrete and masonry for all of them. So those were two $500,000 buckets. And then to do the framing, watertight shell, etc., roofs and these things, that's this summer. So it's really almost, it's every other month or every third month. Now, I don't understand, whatever is easiest, but I can lay the whole thing out. I'm going to meet with Chrissy next week and go through month by month, charge by charge, if that's helpful. But just for all of us, an overall number, I understand, Penny. I don't understand where the buckets are, but due to the timing of the contractors to paying them, etc., and Brian Turbot's funding issues, it does take. It'll save a lot of meetings.
Vicky, and then Penny.
So Jerry, I think that's great. If you want to have like a whole schedule, perhaps that covers the entire amount and when you're going to need your payments. So that way, first of all, Brian, when you submit your request, Brian will know exactly when you may be anticipating making a request. So that way he can plan accordingly. And that way the board can, when they review your proposal, they'll also see, the timing of it and the funds. And then it's really up to Brian and Christy to talk about the so-called buckets of where the money is going to come from. But that being said, I think really the idea is to get also just an approval that the trust can spend this money for this project from the select board. So.
Thank you, Vicky. Penny, did you
Yeah,
follow up?
I'm all set. What Vicky just said answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, Meg, and then to Jerry.
Just in terms of workflow and productivity for the trust and for Habitat, looks like according to his timeline, it would be most essential that he has the $500,000 now. And I would imagine by our next trust meeting on February 20th, unless we're scheduling an additional meeting, we would have a clear picture of our funding and the buckets, and Christy would have had her meeting with Brian, so we could potentially fund the rest of the project. I'm in support of it as a whole, but I do feel comfortable holding off on the full $4 million vote until we do have a chance to truly look at our budget and our monies. So maybe instead of funding an arbitrary amount, we could just fund the 500,000 that seems to be most critical now, and then at our next meeting, fund the remaining 3.5.
Thank you, Meg. Christy?
Thanks. Just in terms of a next meeting, it will come up later in the agenda, but the items that we did need to move, we were hoping to schedule before the February 20th meeting. So we'll talk at the end of the meeting, but I am hoping to have one more, possibly in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. I'd love not to piecemeal this. Christy, do you have the ability to work with Jerry to get the schedule together near term for the select board to come back to us? And I guess my question is, would we have, Vicky, this is a question for you. Could this board vote on it based on a future submitted schedule for the overall funding to then get passed on to the select board? I guess my point is that we are parliamentary in this process, and it's the select board making the final decision. So we could kind of, for efficiency, pass the full funding on to them.
Mm-hmm. So,
Go ahead, Vicky.
Brian. So yes, you could take a vote pending, review of the final proposal, with the amounts as needed. And I guess, so are you going to do it before Brian has met with Christy?
I guess that's my question for you. Should we hold the whole thing till the next meeting and take it all in one after Brian and Christy have met, or can we make it subject to that meeting and vote now?
When is your next meeting that you've scheduled?
There's one on the calendar for February 20th, but we just learned that we'll likely have another one prior to that.
Right. So I guess I understand Habitat would probably like to be able to get a response on their funding as quickly as possible. And and I know you all appreciate that. So perhaps you just take a vote today that would say that you would approve of, you can do one of two things. You can approve of the entire amount that they're requesting of $4 million, or you can approve of the initial $500,000. You can decide how you want to do that, but you could do it pending approval of the select board.
Okay.
Does that
Rima,
answer your question?
yes, roughly. Rima, you put your hand up, and then Penny. Rima, you froze. So I'll come to Penny.
Yeah, I just want to sort of circle back to my motion, which I do want to make again, if it's appropriate to do it at this time, which is to.
Yes, let me just see if Rima was frozen. Did you have a comment before this motion, Rima?
Yeah, so what I would propose for a motion is that we approve the entire 4 million pending a schedule submitted to the select board for their approval, which shows where each portion of the funds are coming from.
Okay, so
that makes sense.
That makes sense. So that is a motion, and I'm not sure how to manage this, to be perfectly honest. Penny, you were halfway through making a motion.
No, it wasn't a motion. It was idea for a motion.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
idea for a motion.
So,
Penny, go ahead.
yeah, so I think the more prudent approach would be to wait and approve it entirely once we have more information. I'm not comfortable voting on funding conditional on something I haven't seen yet. So I don't know why we couldn't meet in 2 weeks on the 30th or February 6th. We seem to be meeting almost weekly now anyway, but that's what I prefer to see, or vote my initial motion was to approve half of it now. But I understand that people are not enthusiastic about the piecemeal approach, so I'm going to withdraw that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Penny. Jerry, do you have time in your schedule to make it to the end of the month on this, knowing that the select board is not going to hear this?
Yeah, I mean, whatever is best to get the entire thing approved. If it means waiting 2 weeks, that's fine. I agree with Penny. I sent the schedule that I needed, plus each of the breakdowns, expense categories, plus all the packets. Did everyone receive that? And what more do you want from me to send? I'm happy whatever is easiest for you and less meetings for all. And yes, we can wait 2 weeks. And if it gets the whole thing approved, that's terrific. And it is an understanding from Brian as to where these funds come from.
Okay, so I think with that, we keep the item open to the next meeting date. Vicky, if Ellis, can you make sure that Vicky sees that schedule in case you have any commentary, Vicky, for the select board related to the schedule supplied by Jerry? And we will have some, so we can address that at the next meeting, and then we'll get through the Brian aspect.
Great.
That seems like everybody's good with that?
Yes.
Great. Jerry, thank you very much.
One comment, can someone make sure I'm added to the agenda then for next meeting?
Yes, Ellis,
Yes.
we'll make sure
Thank you.
that
Thank you all for your consideration and your help.
And I'll just make sure that whatever date we set is the next meeting, that the following select board meeting has this on the agenda.
Great.
Thank you, Christy.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That was 9, going over 10, going over 11. We're now to the other meeting, right? Am I keeping up with the agenda correctly? We're now on other business, item 12.
Yep, board comments, I think, other business, yep.
Other business. So let's get consensus on a new meeting date. It sounds like that's the question. I heard somebody say the 30th. Is there a proposal on a date?
I think we should do the January the 30th, 2 weeks from now.
Is that workable for people? I've got 1 thumbs up. Christy, Dave's Mitza, Rima, okay. I think I've got a okay from Vicky. There's a possibility I may not be able to make that. I'm unsure. 12:30. I think I should be able to make that. But I will update you, Rima, as needed. All right, so we'll publish for the 30th.
Perfect.
Mr.
I
Chair,
guess that's,
Yes, Tom.
we also do have a select board meeting on the 31st, just so you know.
Oh, okay, great.
So excuse me, Brian?
Are we able to take something up and then it be on the meeting the following night? I guess we just need to make sure we're on the agenda preemptively.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Penny?
That's it. You just said what I was going to say. Thank you.
Okay, great. So with that, is there any other business? Seeing none, board comments? Item 13. Seeing none, we'll close board comments. Item 14, executive session. I'll look for a motion to adjourn this meeting, not to return to public session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property where an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of a public body. Is there a motion?
So
Yeah.
moved, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I'll second.
And second from Penny by roll, Tom Dixon.
Aye.
Rima Sherry.
Aye.
Dave Dye.
Aye.
Dave Iverson.
Aye.
Meg Browers.
Hi.
And Brian Sullivan's and I. Great, thank you.